Welcome to the Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Keren Eldad. Settle in. We're about to make you feel really good. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Coached, the podcast with me, Coach Keren Eldad. In this season, we're talking to coaching masters. We're diving into the integrity behind teaching. I want to talk to the best teachers in the world about how they do what they do, what it is they do, and most importantly, why they do it. Today, our first guest is Danielle LaPorte, someone who embodies heart-centered mastery, a best-selling author, a spiritual mentor, and the founder of the Heart-Centered Leadership Program. Danielle, your work has touched millions through its depth, warmth, and radical greatness. From the Desire Map to White Hot Truth to your latest, How to Be Loving. You have helped usher in a new era of spiritual teaching, one rooted in wisdom, authenticity, and soul-level clarity. You know, Ewan McGregor sang in Moulin Rouge, the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thesis that runs through your work. It is such an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for being here.
That was so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's begin at the beginning.
Okay.
I told you before that I've been spending hours and hours and hours with you, and yet your origin story and how you came to this work is still a bit of a mystery to me. So I'd love to hear, how did you come? I mean, especially with the publicist background.
Yeah.
How did your life circumstances inform this work? Who brought you to this side?
So many life circumstances. I rarely go back to the beginning, but Canadian. My mother got knocked up in high school. I didn't go to university or college. I really had almost like this rapacious need to be seen. Like when I was 13, everybody's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, I want to be famous. And that's a shadow side of the light side now of showing up to teach. Became a publicist, didn't even know I was a publicist. I was at a party. Somebody said, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I get people on like radio shows. I get them in the newspaper when there were newspapers. I had a fax machine in a little tiny apartment in LA. And I got known for promoting futurists. You promote one futurist, you get them some gigs and they all call. And then that led to Washington, D.C. So there I was, Canadian, no diploma. I didn't even know what alma mater was. Like every party you go to in DC, people like, what's your alma mater? And I was like, what is alma mater? I don't get it. And yeah, I had a think tank, 21 people, imposter complex, but good leader. I mean, really learning how to lead. First level security clearance at the Pentagon.
Unbelievable.
Writing white papers about weapons of mass destruction. Feeling like a big fat fake. Yeah.
And then?
Politically, it was clear like it was time to go.
Yeah.
I never thought I would go back to Canada. In love with my baby daddy. And kind of fled. Like it all fell apart. There was big .com boom.
Yes.
You know, I owned like 70 URLs at the time. We were just like, let's buy bus.com and turn it into something. You know, it was those days. And went back to Vancouver and started a consultancy with a friend about a more soulful approach to branding.
Yeah.
But before that, tried to get into art school, got rejected. I was like, I'm going to save this rejection letter. You're going to regret this someday. And the soul branding, it was called Style Statement, that picked up, got some coverage, and then Oprah called. And Oprah didn't transpire. There was lots of romancing, and then she was going off air. But I used that Oprah phone call to leverage money.
Yeah.
So I went around town and said, she just called, why don't you pitch in 100 and 100 and 100? Raised all this money. And I got Steve jobbed from my own business, which was amazing. Yeah. Yeah, that was really
because
defining.
Of the Oprah call?
No, not because of that. Because I think, and this is an important part of the story, is for me, at least, all of our investors were men. And they were really on that high of like CPMs and clickbait and all of this. And that wasn't our ethos at all.
Masculine, yes.
It was really masculine, toxic. And They wanted to change the model. They just wanted the clicks, even though it was like Carrie and Danielle, URL, parking spot, all the things. And I was constructively dismissed. So I was taken to Starbucks by the CEO I hired. I got notification from the lawyer that I hired. And I was told that I would just write some blog posts from home. And I needed to like surreptitiously go to Instagram to get my identity back.
Crazy.
Because the incorporation owned my name.
Literally got Steve Jobs.
Yeah, literally. And just so much drama and betrayal, but I was betraying myself. Like I would go in to the studio in the morning. It was really an office, but we felt artier when we called it studio. And I would notice like my breathing would kind of like contract.
Sure.
You know, and
mine is contracting now hearing the story.
Yeah.
You're taking me back. Yeah.
Hand on the door. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have a conversation today about giving over my signing authority on my checking account. And then I just thought, well, this is like excitement because this is all big and all the things are going to happen. And it was going to be, the projections were like 26 million a year. And it was all ridiculous. It was actually all ridiculous. The projections, all of it, signing over my signature authority. Like that's ridiculous. Not being able to breathe when you walk into the ridiculous.
And you're noticing this in real time?
Yeah, in real time.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So this is basically, this is a moment that's going to be familiar to a lot of teachers and a lot of practitioners of all types because the rejection of the old is actually usually kind of preceded by a shitstorm that starts to spit you out of the old illusion and into something much more real.
Yeah.
And so this is when the work starts to enter your life?
Yeah. Well, the work. So let's define the work. The work as seeking.
Yes.
Spiritual direction. So go from like Catholic, deeply devotional kid. Just like I wanted to marry Jesus. Do I need to become a nun to marry Jesus Christ?
Wow.
It's like that. So I like had a Barbie house with Jesus and my Barbies.
Sure.
So that devotion was already there because that makes sense.
They make sense as a
Jesus
couple.
and your Barbie mobile. And then I replaced Catholicism because you got to escape.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to escape religion, but like that differentiation, you have to individualize. So I got to leave. And, that was the 80s. And then there's Louise Hay.
Ah, Louise.
And then there's Wayne Dyer.
Yeah.
And then there's Ram Dass. And all of that is beautiful. And those are great teachers. But I just replaced punitive God for New Age. I was like, you can take your 10 commandments and I'm just going to slide in karma.
That's right.
And then that was another 10, 15 years of burning karma for the wrong reasons. Yeah.
And this is a pattern you're going to see again. But essentially, this is when the inner journey begins and starts to develop within you. And at what point do you decide, I'm going to codify this, I'm going to do this for a living?
Well, I kind of felt like I was always doing it for a living.
Yeah.
I mean, my first big job and kind of last real job was I was doing the Department of Social Inventions for the Body Shop. And I was learning about, these were the days where socially responsible business was like a new term. People actually wanted to trademark it. I was like, you mean we're just going to be like loving and kind and it's going to be people over profits? So it was always there. I was always like trying to be a little activist, activator, sexy, spiritual, something.
Yeah. The values have always been there.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know what I really like about this story is it's a very organic story, almost as if it's always been a background situation, a wave that came to a crest. And it reminds me of what you said about how the Desire Map came to be. Desire Map, an enormous success for you. If you guys don't know what that is, you have got to look it up. And you described in one of your videos that it was a 5-year process in the making. It sort of started as a sketch, if you will.
Started as a Post-it note.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the evolution then of Desire Map?
Yeah, the evolution was, it's New Year's Eve. I have a brand new baby boy.
Harper,
who just, They leave you, you know, they grow up and they leave you.
It's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Individuation.
Oh, he just moved to Montreal. It's New Year's Eve. We're watching Dick Clark, and I'm going to do some goal setting with my man. And it was boring. I was just like, we wanted a new dining room table, and we wanted to pay off credit card debt, and I wanted to get published, but there was no like Shakti in it. There was no life force. I was like, I want to feel inspired. I want to feel affluent. I want to feel creative. And I was like, this is about feeling. I wrote them on a Post-it note, those feelings. And I was like, these are really core. These are going to drive my year. And then I would do speaking gigs talking about these core desired feelings thing. And then mostly women would come up to me afterwards, and I would hear things that I thought were shocking at the time. Like, I've never considered my feelings. This is not how business works. This would change my marriage. And then people were coming back with like, I'm quitting. I'm changing the name of my law firm. And I was like, okay, we're on to something. And then I have 4 planets in Virgo. So everything is a system. I love methodologies.
I'm afraid I'm familiar with this.
Isn't it? But isn't it great?
It makes us effective.
Love a system. I love patterns.
Yeah.
And so I'm all about, you know, you bring the divine to the structure. You bring the flow, like, and it hit something because that's like 400,000 people desire mapped.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
What an enormous success.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, I'm always astounded when I hear 4,000 have responded to something. So 400,000, that's like a stadium and another stadium.
Yeah, actually, the stadium visual I use a lot. So like when we launch something now, I'm just like, okay, there's 30,000 people capacity in Rogers Stadium. Let's do 10 of those.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Since we just covered a moment of epic success for you, and you also talked a lot about your origin story and the desire to be famous in the shadow side, I have known for a very long time that unfortunately that shadow side doesn't completely go away and sometimes reappears.
Yes.
In other words, we still reactivate those patterns that drive us to burnout. And you beautifully and masterfully talked about this. By the way, also, in the very beginning of How to Be Loving, you said, I was reaching another point at which I thought maybe just quit and become a potato grower.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious.
Yeah, true.
But I decided to write this book instead. So you have also confronted this. Can you speak to that a little bit? Because that's part of the teaching experience too, isn't it?
Yeah, the question changed. So the guiding question with Desire Map was, how do I want to feel?
Yeah.
That opened a lot of us up. I went through a very dark period in my life. So prior to the really classical dark night of the soul, there were challenges, which I labeled as I'm going through the dark night of my soul. And my experience was when I really hit that place, legit, the challenges before paled in comparison.
The separation?
How do you mean separation?
From the baby daddy?
No, that was challenging.
That was challenging, but not as
Divorce
challenging.
is challenging. Miscarriage is challenging.
Yeah. Facing
bankruptcy, getting Steve Jobs from your own company. Those are challenging. You will get on your knees for all of those things. But for me, and I mean, there are some really classical definitions of dark night of the soul. It's really an identity crisis.
Yes, it is.
And you don't know who you're going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where the metaphor of metamorphosis comes in. It's like you really do get liquefied. And so there were anxiety attacks and panic and suicidal ideation. And some of that was hormonal. Some of that was another romance gone wrong. And some of that was my soul was just delivering this initiation. Like, let's walk you through the fire. Yeah. You're going to expand. You're going to transmute the suffering. And you're going to get how powerful and guided you are. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's awesome.
Is. You're reminding me I went through the same thing. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So it's a big moment. And unfortunately, we don't completely chew all of it off. So sometimes we find ourselves once again running ourselves ragged into the fire, no?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I think I always see learning as this spiral. So it's like you put the lesson on the loop and the orbit gets broader. It's like, so my lesson is abandonment issues, let's say, or neglect or whatever it is. And there it comes. Okay, dark night. And then it's a year or two, and then it's 2 more years, and then it's 3 years. But the soul gives you the theme for the lifetime.
That's right.
And I think we only have about 3 to 4 themes in a lifetime.
Sure.
We like to think, oh, it's this now, and I've moved on. No, these are foundational themes. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds me a lot of the Kabbalistic term tikkun or tikkun olam, which is the correction of your soul, not the correction of the world. That's what it literally translates to, but it's the correction of your soul. You will just keep correcting. You will just keep refining.
Can I put a twist on that?
Yeah, of course.
I would say, it's a beautiful concept. I would say it's the soul correcting you. So, I think that is the purest meaning.
Yes.
So, I hear
because
a lot.
The soul doesn't need correction,
Exactly.
does it? Yes. Yes.
Exactly. And this is, in the wellness, personal development space, so many people say, I'm working on my soul. I got to take care of my soul. And it's like, I'm really into precision with language.
Yeah, that's right. That's
creates
right.
a reality. Your soul is actually taking care of you.
Yes.
And your soul is dispensing the dark night.
Yes.
And the power and all the things. And when you get that, you feel both modest and microscopic.
Yeah.
And invincible.
Invincible.
Yeah.
That's very Gary Zukav.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And it brings me to this moment where you said that you used to teach people how to go out and get what they wanted. And now you teach people how to go within and be who they are. And I have to tell you, when I hit my last burnout cycle, because the Virgo hustle dives real hard.
Yeah.
That was the conclusion that I came to. And I think many teachers will. Instead of teaching what we think will succeed, we start teaching what people actually need.
Yes.
I did not mean for that to rhyme,
yeah.
but it totally did.
But you're a master.
And so that's where you've arrived.
Do you know what? This is why I think that happens. Because you burn your own ego.
Yeah.
So the masks go away. You become actually truly luminous. No more masks. More light comes out. You become radiant. And you don't need to be right as the teacher.
No.
You care less about what people think of you.
Yeah.
And now some teachers will say, it's not about me. I don't think that's entirely true either. Like, I think we become less egocentric, but I'm fulfilled teaching and I'm having a relationship with you now or in a book or on whatever it is. So it's actually it's about us. So, because I think when people say in this, maybe they are being truly selfless bodhisattvas, but I think when they say it's not about me, I think can be a really tricky ego thing, actually, because this is where the ego hides. The ego loves personal development.
It does.
It loves to look selfless.
Of course, because it wraps itself again around a new identity, and this one's giving it even more validation.
Exactly.
It's funny. Did you ever watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
No.
I love that show. And I was rewatching an episode last night.
Kind of look like her. Similar aesthetic.
That's very, very moving. My husband will be listening to this episode. The character, Abe Weissman, who is her father, is a teacher. And he quits his job when he says teaching is supposed to be an act of generosity. And I have let my ego get in the way. And there was a moment where I just thought, I really feel that. I really feel that. No, you're right. Unfortunately, that ego is just going to go, wow, you're a great teacher now. But that's kind of not the point, is it?
I like the teachers who leave the scene. There's lots of teachers who just go full tilt to the very end.
Yeah.
But I love stories of the wandering yogi, the venerated master. And they literally disappear in the night.
Yeah.
And they get their begging bowls. They leave their identity, just leave it behind. That's interesting to me.
It's the next phase. It's becoming nobody, as Ram Dass said.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the first thing before becoming a nobody is to start to actually become allergic to false gods and charlatans. And one of my favorite parts of researching the great Danielle LaPorte before you were coming was reading your notes for today's talk. You're about to give a very large keynote. And I noticed that another thing that you and I share is an open disdain for bullshit of all kinds. Which is an allergy I've developed. I used to be the biggest, BS me, I love it. And the talk really is about discernment and spiritual sovereignty and the danger of our outsourcing our power, which I think is one of the biggest dangers of charlatans developing some kind of a relationship with us and our inability to discern truth from nonsense. Can you speak to this a little bit, as it's such a big and powerful moment in your work? And also, I also shared with you that I'm obsessed with your video on the 9 ways to discern who is trustworthy. Can you distill that into something that maybe our listeners can take away and use if they're not as knee-deep as we are?
Okay, so first question was about the charlatans. I think it's part of the journey. It's like there can't be any shame or self-judgment, flagellation about falling for the bullshit.
No,
I
don't.
You learn,
I don't blame
you
myself.
learn through contrast.
Yeah.
You're going to possibly marry the wrong person. You're going to follow the wrong guru. You're going to have a creepy boss leader religion that takes you down a path that has nothing to do with your dharma, your swadharma, who you actually are. So it's going to happen. I don't think it's avoidable. Now, I think maybe next generation, next, we're coming in more evolved. There will be less bullshit, but you got to go into the dark to find that light. I mean, this is a side lane, but I think one of the greatest charlatans right now is artificial intelligence as spiritual direction.
Yes.
Because it is programmed by a society that has not yet reached super consciousness. And my observation is it's masterful at fawning.
Yes.
And when you delight in the fawn response, it's just feeding your shadow, your ego. You're actually just picking at a wound.
Yeah.
And that is opposite direction.
I think you're giving great comfort to many teachers out there who have heard, and all of us have heard, AI is going to replace coaching, teaching, and spirituality in any forms. And I'm like, have you tried it? Because I feel like maybe it's a little off and maybe a ways off from entering this realm entirely. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
And what are some tools, that's the second question, or some ways in which others can start to discern? Because you are right, we all fall prey to the charlatans, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of the Dharma, part of the evolution. But can we become more discerning? Are there a couple of things that people want to watch out for?
You've got to become intimate with your nervous system. So there's a lot of talk now in our space about nervous system, which is fantastic. I think the number one priority for everybody in the world, monks and mothers, should be nervous system regulation. Right. You learn to hear your own signals. You learn to notice that when you put your hand on the doorknob and you're going into an office where you're not really seen or understood, your breathing has changed.
Yeah.
You learn to regulate your breathing. I mean, the simplest thing really is breathing into your heart. Breath work is it. It's it. It's it.
It's it.
Heart breathing, transformation. I mean, I'm more interested in transmutation than transformation, but it only happens in the heart. Real change can only be sustained if you bake it with love. It cannot be an intellectual concept. Every great master teaches this. Even the classical religions, like you can recapitulate your past. You can watch your breath, but until you bring loving kindness into the equation, you're not going to go up. You're not going to become whole. You're not going to be relieved of your suffering.
Yes. Yes.
So there's that. So there's intimacy.
Become mindful.
Become
of
mindful.
How you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of how you feel. What your body's telling you. And then there's the whole, I think we think it's a luxury, but the luxury, the power of going where the love is. Like, especially in corporate, we're taught to suck it up and endure. And of course, you got to be tough. Like there's times like resilience, yes, but resilience actually is not about becoming tougher or more leathery or more hardened. It's actually about becoming more inclusive.
Yeah.
And I think we transpose this false definition of resilience onto I have to work with people I don't identify with because they have a better skill set.
Yeah.
No, no. You actually get to work with people that you vibe with.
Completely agree.
You get to build community.
Yeah.
Having someone on your team, in your client roster that you resonate with, that you feel like you can have your best day and your worst day with them, actually affects your cognition.
Yeah.
It affects your memory. You will ideate mo better, and your nervous system will be regulated.
That's right.
So you discern by going where the love is, actually.
I really love that. My
Yeah.
favorite teacher is Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
She always says,
Okay, now I know. Now I
oh,
know how weird you are.
I'm
Awesome.
I'm
Let's
an
go
Esther
there.
person. I'm a heavy,
Okay.
heavy there. I don't care who knows it. And she always says, you cannot have an unhappy journey and a happy ending. And I
Yeah.
completely agree with resonance as the path
Yeah.
to freedom. What is going on for you that you're very excited about right now?
I'm going home to write my book.
Ooh,
I'm just starting to talk about it publicly. So
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
We will have you on again.
all right. It's called Bless and Release.
Mm.
And the concept is it's about letting go, even though you can't actually let go of anything.
Yeah.
You have to transmute it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Gosh, I cannot wait to read that. And what would you like to invite the audience to sample today of your work? How could they
Sample
be
today?
introduced to you other than obviously all the links that will be below the episode?
Do you mean a tool, or
Yeah, what do you
mean
think they
where to
should
find
check
me?
out? With Love Danielle,
Oh,
the
yeah. I
Desire
have a
Map,
rockin'
the last
podcast.
book.
Yeah. My podcast is transparent and pragmatic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's extraordinarily useful. We are going to link that below and all of the other tools because I don't think there's anything wasted. with
Right
you.
on. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, Danielle. This
Oh,
has been a
thank you,
true
Karen.
honor, a real privilege. You end with many prayers for people, but I always say, may you be blessed with ease. Is the very best one.
May you be blessed with these.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, dear listener, for enjoying today's episode. If it spoke to you, please subscribe and leave us a review, which is a tacky and awful thing that we absolutely have to say, but we really, really do use it and need it and want to bless your life with ease. Until next time.